cats, I'm back with another of my spooky story experiences. This one goes back to, I would say, 2013, I think. And this is at the second house that we had a lot of experiences at. The first house, there's still a lot more tales to tell on that one, but I'm just jumping forward into this one because it's a very interesting one. So it was around 2014, summertime, and we'd not long moved into this house. It was a rental. We'd moved in, and my husband was round his mother's house, um, and he was staying there for a while. Um, but then what happened was there was me, my daughter Casey, who was only around, I don't know, 12 at the time, and my little daughter Tallulah, who was only literally 3 years old, 3 years old, something like that at the time. And yeah, it was I think it was summertime. Yeah, I said summertime, didn't I? And yeah, anyway, so my husband had been round, and there'd been a bit of negative energy going on. Anyway, he'd gone out, basically had a row, and you know what you do. Anyway, so there's me and my daughter Casey and my daughter Tallulah left. Anyway, thinking nothing of it. Everything was all right. Everything was sorted out. Richard went round to see his mum and dad. Right, no problem. So left me and the girls left there, and it was getting dark, so it was quite dark out. It was sort of, I would say, I don't know, no, it couldn't have been summertime. It must have been, I think it was probably around October time. What am I thinking? It's because I'm getting confused with that story. It's around October time. So yeah, it was getting dark. So it was around tea time. It was around X Factor being on TV time. So I'm guessing whatever time that was on, it was then. And we were just sat there watching TV, absolutely nothing going on, just watching X Factor, having a laugh, and enjoying it, enjoying the show and everything. And literally, all of a sudden, we had a doorway here. My sofa was here. I was sat here with Tallulah, and Casey was sat on the sofa over there, and the door was here, the living room door. And all of a sudden, I thought an explosion had happened. It was as if a big bloke, with big steel toe cap boots on, had taken a run and dive at our living room door and booted it, like literally kicked the living boop out of it. And the whole house shook, like it was vibrational. And I thought, oh my God, I had the back door open earlier. What if somebody's got in? I literally thought that. I literally thought somebody might have got in. So I was like, oh Christ. And then with that, Tallulah started looking at the door and screaming. Bear in mind, she was only 3, I think. She was really screaming and looking at the door. And Casey was going, what's that? What's that? And getting upset and everything. And I said, don't worry, it's okay. I'll sort it. I don't know what it was. I thought it was that loud. I thought my electric box in the hallway had exploded. I literally thought that's what had happened. That's how loud and aggressive this kick, whatever it was, energy against the door was. And of course, Casey was crying. Tallulah was upset. And I was thinking, Jesus, if somebody's got in my house, I'm going to have to protect my kids now. So again, me with the wine bottle, always to hand back in those days. There was a big, heavy Black Tower bottle. That's horrible, I know, but we had some of that. And I picked it up. It was obviously empty. I picked it up and I walked towards the door, and literally I was terrified to open it. I went up to the handle and my kids were going, oh, Mum, quick, go on. I was like, I was really fully expecting to be met by a big guy, and I was thinking, oh my God, I just didn't know what to do. I was literally just terrified. So I slowly opened the door with the bottle like this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing was there. I looked out into the hall thinking they've run off. I was looking everywhere and I couldn't see anything because we had a through walkway to the hall that went from the living room out the door there and then round to the kitchen and then round to the hall. So it was a big loop. So anybody could have got in and I wouldn't have known. So I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Have they run upstairs? What's happened? So I'm looking around, I'm tiptoeing around the place thinking, okay, right, I need to get out of here and get my kids out of here. Like now, I can't go around being the hero. This is dangerous. It's somebody's in the house. So I literally just said, look, kids, out. We just need to leave now. So I was scrambling for the keys. You know that bit on Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis is going, the keys, the keys. That's what I was like. I was going, oh my God, the keys. And I was fumbling with the keys. And you know when you want to get them undone quick, it won't undo. Well, that was what was happening. And so anyway, I eventually managed to get the keys in the door and open the door after a kerfuffle. And me and Casey and Tallulah piled out. And then Casey went, oh, I haven't got my shoes. She went to go back in. So you're going back in? Get out. Of course, my car typically, normally is parked right outside the house, but for this specific day, for some reason, it was parked right down the road and the street light had gone. So it was dark. So I'm carrying Tallulah under my arm. It's pitch black and we're running with no shoes on to the car. Got there. And of course, again, getting the keys sorted and all the rest of it. Then I have to put Tallulah in a car seat, strap her in. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, I hadn't been drinking and driving. That was an old bottle. just that sounds terrible. Wine bottle and no. So I put her in, I strapped her in, and Casey, we all jumped in the car, and I literally just went flying round to Richard's parents, which was round the corner, down the road and round the corner, thankfully. So I'm running out the car. The girls are crying. I'm banging on his parents' door, quick, and because I thought literally someone was in the house. So Richard comes running down and says, what? And I told him, and I said, just come round now and check, go round. So he came, got in the car, came round, and he walked in and he was like, he was really like, you could tell he was worried because he was like powering round. And he came downstairs, he said, there is no one here now. He said, and I said, well, the back door's locked, so I don't know how anyone could have got in. But it was, you know, when it's a spooky happening, your brain goes logic, doesn't it? So I just assumed somebody had come in. But then when we checked, the back door was locked, and I was like, that's impossible from the inside, not from the outside. It was locked from the inside. Key job, you know. And so I was just like, what the heck was that? So yeah, and he was like, well, I don't know. He said, that's the weirdest thing. There is nobody here. There was the electric box was fine, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Not a soul in the house. Nothing had been moved, nothing had been taken. There was just this, even the door, I thought there was going to be a big dent in the door where it was kicked. Nothing. There was nothing there whatsoever. It was like energy. It was like energy, boom, right against the door, and the whole thing shook. Like, and it was just me and Tallulah and Casey. And first of all, before we went and got Rich, I was trying like mad to phone Richard first before I went round there to get him to just come round because I was too scared to go out. And I couldn't get hold of any because my phone had died, and I was like, shit. Oh, I keep swearing, sorry, but it's a really scary one for me. And I was like, oh, you know, what are we going to do? So obviously we went and got Rich, and thank God he came round and checked, but there was nothing. And I said, right, that's it, you're staying here. You ain't going anywhere tonight. I'm not staying here on my own with these girls. It's too dangerous, and just in case. But then I kept saying, well, there's nobody can possibly have gotten in because the back door was locked tight, you know, by key. It wasn't just like a little slidey thing. It was a proper key. You had to undo it with a key, and the keys were in the door. I mean, like, there's no way anyone could get in. So that was another really, really horrible experience. I think that was a negative energy build-up, actually. Because personally for me, I think you create negative energy and you create positive energy. And I think sometimes when you get these negative happenings, they sit this kind of, you know, poltergeist with children and stuff, they pick up on the energy, that you create the energy yourself. And I think sometimes they form an entity. And I do believe as a witch that over time, if you're not paying attention to that entity that's created by this negative energy, it gradually disperses, which in turn explains how poltergeist activity only usually lasts for 6 weeks, you know, not much more, because it just disperses. So that's what I believe. So I think that's what that was at that house. I mean, there's more tales from that house as well, but I thought I would just tell you this one for this Monday. I hope you're all okay and had a really lovely weekend. Again, it's really, really hot in the UK right now. So, you know, we're just sort of like melting a little bit. So enjoy your week, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.